Growing up being broke, my mom would always say, more money, more problems. So I had to get over that like limited belief and like kind of that stereotype of having money. It doesn't mean, you know, you have more money, you have more issues. Like that's a crappy mindset to have.
So this episode is so impactful because there's so many people that are looking at others on social media and being like, how'd you get that life? How do you have money? And really not understanding like the journey to get there. So this is going to be like the true like rags to riches story. The grind. And now you're a successful businesswoman. And so I kind of want to really, before people will understand how to create financial security and so forth, they need to first understand your full story. So if you don't mind like diving in, whatever area you feel comfortable.
For sure. It's definitely, it's a story. I think everyone just sees where I am now and they're like, oh, you're so lucky. You live this like glamorous life. And I'm like, it's been a long, tough road. But I think because it was so tough that it gave me that grit, that grind that I didn't want to live a hard life. So growing up, my mom was a single mom. She dealt with addiction, so she was addicted to alcohol. So growing up, we just had issues with always moving around from place to place. Like moving every year was like normal to us.
Wow.
Like not putting things up on the wall. Like I didn't know it was weird until like as a teenager, I saw friends like, oh no, I've lived in this house since I was born. I'm like, oh, we move every year. Like this is not normal. There's one time where we were homeless and we slept in a car and then we're sleeping in a motel room. So seeing those things as like a teenager, I'm like, I never want to be broke. I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I know I don't want this. I ended up dropping out of high school, getting my GED. I think I was a junior in high school. I was like, okay, school's cool and all, but like I need to work.
Yes.
Like I need to make money. I need to help my family as much as I can. I'm the oldest. Wow. So I kind of like took that on. And from there, I've just been kind of like gradually getting better and better. I think once I turned 18, I was like, click, like, okay, what am I going to do? What's my mindset? I was bartending forever, then kind of got into modeling. It was like the beginning of Instagram. Then I was doing really well, but my family was still kind of like living in like a small apartment. My mom would sleep in the living room, didn't have a room. And I'm like, who am I if I'm living like this nice lifestyle now, yet my family is still kind of living in like the hood. So I moved them to South Florida and like I pay for their rent and take care of them. And my siblings are disabled. They both have epilepsy, so they don't drive. So my mom takes on a lot. So that's why I kind of take on the role of like helping them because I do well for myself. So I want them to have benefits of my hard work.
Wow, that's so inspiring. And it's crazy because we can grow up like seeing these things and we can choose a path. We can choose to be like it or we can be inspired to choose a different life.
There's just two roads. You can stay in that same mindset and that same state or you choose to get out of it.
What do you feel like was that part of you that was like, I'm going to change this?
Just seeing how my mom would always struggle. I'm just like, it was like the same thing over and over again. Like we would move to a new place, she would get a new job, or it was just, it never worked out for her. And she was dealing with addiction, which I didn't really understand. I'm like, why don't you just stop drinking?
Yeah.
Like just stop. But it's not that easy. You know what I mean? So I don't think I understood the struggle of now breaking it down as an adult. I'm like, wow, she was taking care of 3 kids, in and out of like places, dealing with like an addiction. Yeah. She was doing the best she could.
Yeah.
But how hard? I don't even have kids. And I'm like, where am I going to put my dog while I'm traveling? I'm like, I can't imagine having 3 kids and dealing with stuff like that. So
yeah, it's so true.
Just seeing that, I was like, I don't want to be in that struggle mentality. So just seeing it as a teenager, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I had no plan, but I just knew I was going to work really hard at whatever I was going to do and get out of that.
What do you feel like was your biggest like money mindset limitation when you were starting out?
Ooh, it was really hard because I think growing up being broke, my mom would always say, more money, more problems, or, rich people are, bougie or, they can be kind of snobby. So I had to get over that like limited belief and like kind of that stereotype of having money. I think it's a working progress all the time where I have this like roadblock where I can't get past a certain point. I have to like kind of like, I've been going to therapy for a while and like working through things and bettering myself. But just knowing that it is possible. Anyone can have anything they want. And,
So
you know,
true.
it doesn't mean, you know, you have more money, you have more issues. Like that's a crappy mindset to have.
I agree. And it's also like first taking the time to like label your beliefs so that you could realize it's just a label. It's not literally my identity. I'm just choosing to take on this belief. Like one of the ones I learned that I had was that I have to work hard for money, like really hard. Because my dad is an immigrant and then he worked so hard. Like all growing up, didn't come home until late. He also worked on the weekend, so I didn't get to see him much. And so I then took on that belief, like I have to work really
like
hard to make
blood
money.
and sweat. Like
So
I have
always,
to put this in.
Yeah, so I was always exhausted to like be successful. It's exhausting, you know. And then I'm like, damn, there's people that are like, you gotta work smarter, not harder. And then I'm like, that's a whole belief that I'm
like,
to take on.
Delegate, delegate. That's like how you really have to do it.
Yeah, it's wild. So then now I'm like, okay, I need to like label that. I see that I'm doing it. I need to now learn how to just take back my power and see where I'm like limiting myself. But it's always a work in progress. And like you said, you get to a certain level, and then even though people can look at you and be like, wow, you have everything, it's like you still have certain things you have to work on, and they're all just stepping stones.
Well, I think the big thing is working on yourself. A lot of people don't want to take that step and like dig deeper. Because look, we all have traumas from childhood and we take it on, generational things. It's like you have to work through that. It's crappy going through it sometimes and working through it, but at the end of it, you're only going to get better and stronger. And like you said, it's a working process.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I was thinking not too long ago, because obviously we're getting so much access to information and we're learning like what areas in our childhood have now limited us from being our best versions. And then you're like, okay, well, when I have a kid, I'm going to make sure this, and this. But then I was like starting to be like, I'm like, wow, the trauma, like having traumas kind of like really make you the person you are. Like say you don't have anything. Those are kind of like the laziest people. They have no motivation.
It's hard.
Or perspective to like
I have a stepson and he's 15 and we're trying to teach him the value of your time. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so you can go get a 9 to 5 at like the grocery store or, you know, work on the weekends, but you're trading your time for $10 an hour. He's like, so a whole hour of work, only $10? I'm like, well, technically, yes, but then you're going to pay taxes. Then you're going to get the, you know what I mean? Then it's going to be basically like 6. He's like, that doesn't seem like a lot. And I'm like, it's not. Or he plays basketball. So we're like, you could run like a little summer camp with 10 kids, charge the parents $50 a session or something. He's like, oh. I'm like, yeah, so you're trading your time. You're being smart. Yes. So we're trying to like mold him into that because he doesn't have really, you know, a hard life. And I'm like, well, how do you teach grind to somebody that doesn't have to?
It's wild. Okay, this is a good point that you're saying is like, a lot of females deal with this, understanding how to value themselves in a workplace or in a career. Like, how did you put a value on your time? How did you get to that place where you started to like know what you were worth?
I mean, it took me a long time to get there, but especially in modeling, I did a lot of free work for a long, long time. And, you know, in the beginning, you're so in between of, what is my value? I'm new. I don't have no experience. I don't even know how to pose yet. Like nothing like that. But I think from doing so much and doing that free work, I was like, okay, well, now I know what I'm doing. I come with my nails done. I come with this. I take care of my skin. Like all these things add up. And then I put that value on myself. Okay, well, I guarantee my photos. I know that I'm like a 95%er. All the photos are basically going to be good. You know, you hire someone new or you get, you know, a model that's free, they don't know how to pose. They don't know how to do this. So I think just putting in that, you know, time, nothing is overnight.
Exactly. And so how did you get to a place where you were able to like say your value to someone and be okay with like that scary feeling of being like, this is what I want. And like being okay with like, maybe people are going to be like, what are you talking about? That's crazy.
I'm always like, if you don't ask, there's like, you know, it's not going to hurt anything. And you have 2 answers, yes or no. It's a 50-50, you know what I mean? So I mean, I think in Honestly, my 30s, like early, like when I turned 30, I think I came into this like confidence boost. In my 20s, I was like kind of searching like, who am I? What am I doing? You know, valuing myself and things like that, going to therapy, like building myself up. But my 30s, I was like, oh, like I know who I am.
Exactly.
I know what I bring to the table. Like I know my value. So I think in my 30s, I was happy to say to companies, this is what I charge.
Yes, that's awesome.
And when you have that confidence, they can feel it, and they're happy to pay you. Now it's the person that's like, oh, well, you know, well, what do you want to pay me? Well, you're cutting yourself short.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You know,
true.
so I think just having your confidence, and worst case, what do they say? No. On to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Do you feel like that because you had the responsibility of your family, knowing that you wanted to help them, that it kind of drove you more to like, even once you like moved them out, like, do you feel like today it drives you more to be even more successful knowing that you have them?
For sure. There's like days where I'm like, oh, I don't really want to get up and travel and go,
Yeah.
you know, there was one week I came to LA, did a job, had to go back to Miami, got off the plane, did the job, packed, and came back to LA.
Wow.
And I'm just like, ugh, I don't really want to do this. Like, this is not fun, but I also take care of so many people. So it's like I'm motivated through like the tiredness or the traveling and the times where you're just not motivated. Like, oh, it's not just me.
Yes.
Maybe if it was just me, I'd be like, today I
Yeah.
don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But now I have people depending on me, so it pushes me.
How did you learn to like create financial security with yourself to where like different money habits or like tools you use in order for someone that is like, okay, I don't even know how to like, there's not a lot of like financially literate people and they don't really teach that. So how did you go about that?
So for a long time, I think I was just winging it because there's information online, but it's like, what's real?
Exactly.
What's the right way to go? Like, and I also felt like for a long time you had to have like millions of dollars to even start thinking about like financial things. I think I really started to realize things when I got a financial advisor. I'm like, oh, like I don't have to have like millions of dollars in the bank to have a financial advisor. But like he broke things down. Like I didn't have life insurance for a long time. Now I have life insurance, which will definitely be like a retirement thing for myself. Just learning how to trade, learning how to like put my money in other places, like having my money work for me. I mean, I was clueless. Like I got a CPA, set up my business the right way. Before that, I didn't even have an LLC.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, okay. There's so many benefits when you actually take the time and learn about it because you're saving on taxes, you're saving in so many aspects. So I always tell young girls in the business, like, find a financial advisor, find somebody that's going to advise you to do the right things in your business because it's going to save you money.
Yeah, that's so true. It is worth it. It's an investment in yourself and
For
your
sure.
future. And it is crazy. At first, it feels like such a topic that no one wants to look into.
Well, money
it's like,
makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yes. Talking
Which is
about
crazy.
it and all this stuff. Totally.
Like in relationships, nobody ever wants to talk about money. Like that was one thing. Me and my husband were always very open about money. I was like, I make my own money. And he's like, me too. And I'm like, I might want you to sign a prenup. And he's like, me? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, but we decided not to. But he was like very thrown off at first. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, because what if something happened? Like I've worked really hard.
Yes.
So, but you can't be uncomfortable. Like money is money. And I think we don't fight because we lay everything out on the table, including money.
And you have to have those conversations with people. Like, are you a spender? Are you a saver?
Are you in debt?
Yeah. These are big questions.
Especially in a relationship, if that's somebody you're potentially, you know, you want to marry or potentially.
Yeah.
Like, how much school debt are you in? Like hundreds of thousands? Like, are you in, you know, $75,000 worth of like credit card debt? Like, what did you buy? Like, I want to know this.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
true. Okay, I don't know much about your husband, but do you feel comfortable sharing some things about him? Because I know you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
were
yeah.
saying like you don't. Okay, go ahead. I don't know what to ask because I know nothing about him. But I feel like it'd be cool if it's something that's interesting. I don't know much about him.
He's an
so-
entrepreneur as well, but he didn't come from anything. He lived a middle class lifestyle. I mean, he'll say like they didn't have much, but I'm like, you had a house. Like your dad owned a house. Like,
Yeah.
that was more than we had. But he went through addiction as well. He went to jail, I think, when he was like 21 for like a year. But he was addicted to alcohol and smoking weed. And he was like, honestly, when I stopped that at 27, my entire life changed.
Wow.
You know, he had a son, I think when he was 26 or 27. So he's like, that was a huge turning point as well. I'm like, oh, I'm a dad. Like, somebody's relying on me. I have to make some changes. And I think that really catapulted everything, especially with his addiction. So now, like, he'll speak at meetings and, you know,
that's
help people.
nice.
Yeah. I think he's been clean now 12 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
So he was like, I could never go back because I know that success, like, that doesn't involve success.
Yeah, that's true.
It can't be partying.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to mess you up somewhere down the road.
What's your morning routine like?
Oh, my morning routine. This is a good one. I do love to sleep in.
Me too.
I'm not an early morning person unless I'm traveling or like have to get up for work. I want to sleep in. A slow morning. I have like worship music playing in the house when I'm waking up, doing my skincare, making like tea or something, feeding the dog. Slow morning.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. I like to journal, or I'll do like Bible study kind of like in the morning, but nothing too crazy. Go to the gym and then like kind of start the day.
Yeah, that's nice. I know I always told myself, I'm like, once I become my own boss, I don't want to have to wake up at a certain time.
No.
Because I hated that before. Like, you're in school, you have to wake up at like 7, you have to get to class by 8. And it's like, oh my God, we did that for so long in our lives.
It's like programmed.
But I was going to say, I dropped out of high school too.
Yeah? I did not know that.
Yeah. And I just hated being in school
Oh, it
so
was horrible.
much. And I was homeschooled. My parents got divorced. And then I was just like, I don't want to be here. I hated authority a lot.
Yeah. And I also felt like I was learning things that I didn't need.
Yeah. And I was the same as you. Like, I was excited to go get a job. Like, I wanted to get a job. I wanted to get my license right away. Like, I was very like eager to do more.
Yeah. Independent.
Yeah.
That was
So I've
good.
always had that. And I think that for me, it was like, my dad was super hard on us. He would always say, like, you know, work this hard while you're young. Like, do this while you're young. You have so much time. And he always worked like multiple jobs. When he first moved to England. That's where he met my mom because she's British, and then moved to America.
Oh, awesome.
But he had like multiple jobs. He taught himself English. Like, he's Persian. So he taught himself English while he was going to school and having a job and walking there because he didn't have a car. He was so poor, like all these things. So he's such a hard worker. And then probably internally was like my way of like making him proud to like work this hard. So we all have our like thing of like what's driving us,
Pushing us.
and it's I feel like it's so important to have that, like what yours
Definitely.
was. It's like that little driver. It's like you wouldn't change it for the world because it really just
No, I go back and, you know, I think there was a lot of times where I'd be like, why is my life like this? Like, this is not fair. Or even being younger and like questioning, for me, God, I'm like, why would God allow me to have this like rough life? But now being older and seeing how everything played out, I wouldn't be the Amber I am today without the struggle, without all that craziness. So,
and you have like an essence of like assurance behind you and confidence, and it's probably because you've proven to yourself that you can do it. And so like that's such a good feeling to have in life,
sure.
you know, rather than I have like I always think about this one guy that I dated when I was younger. His dad was like a billionaire, and it was just interesting to be around someone like that grew up with that type of freedom financially.
you can do anything.
Yeah. And it was like so hard for him to stay consistent on things because his dad was paying him so much money every month and he didn't have to work if he didn't want to. And it's kind of like wild. I was like wild because it's it's just wild that like when you kind of have everything, you don't really have a reason.
That is crazy. I know, like, when I was dating, that was one thing. It would always make me uncomfortable kind of dating somebody that was wealthy. I'm like, you know, you don't get it. Like, I have to go to work.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just like chill and do nothing and like go on these trips. I'm like,
you're like, I have things to do.
Like, I have to pay for my family. Like, I
Yeah.
have things to do. So that was hard when dating, but I could understand that. Like, if you do grow up in that situation, it's hard to understand the other side of where somebody has to work or be on a schedule. You're like, oh, I just get up and decide what I want to do today. You're like,
Exactly.
real.
And a big thing for me, which is making me feel like you have this, is like I always knew I didn't want to just marry someone just because they had money. I was like, I don't want to just have to like be that woman that just focuses on how do I meet a man so that I can have financial like security.
That was like one of my big things. I'm like, I want to own property. I want to own like by myself without my husband beforehand because I'm not that person to be like, hey, can I have this? Or I want to do this. Can I do it? No.
Yeah. And like, and it's also like, I also was like, I don't want to just settle because I need money. Like that wouldn't be a good feeling to be like, I don't really fully feel in love with this person, but I need the money. Like I wanted to be like, okay, I'm marrying someone because I want to marry them.
And I think that happens a lot, that you can't, like women settle.
Yeah.
Because, okay, do I keep dating to find somebody that I'm truly in love with and that I want to be with? Or do I find somebody that like, I like them, but they're also giving me a certain lifestyle or giving me financial, security. And I always tell girls, I'm like, hey, like it's great to be secure, but when you make your own money and you bring that to the table, a lot of things change dating. Like it's just a confidence thing and you don't put up with crap.
That's true.
Because
you don't need to.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, like this, and this, I don't like this. But if you're relying on them to pay your rent, to do this, you turn your cheek a little bit and you're like, oh, like, it's okay, I guess, because I'm getting taken care of. And
yeah,
like,
that's
no.
so true.
When you provide for yourself, dating becomes different.
Is there anything recently you're learning about, like business or finances or anything interesting that you've been learning about that it's been like a new thing you would want to share?
All these like tax benefits where I have a new CPA and he's like really awesome.
Wow.
And he's like, look, obviously you have to pay taxes. I'm like, duh. But his job is to, where should I put my money, which will save me money, like real estate and depreciation value on your real estate and things like that on your investments. I'm like, okay, this is all new things.
Yes.
But I like learning about it because it's like, you should know about your money. Where is it going? Like, are you making money from your money? Things like that. Like before I was just like, oh yeah, I have money in my bank account. Great. Swipe, like not knowing where it was going.
Yes.
Or not wanting to really know because it would scare me.
Exactly. That's
like if I know where I'm spending all my money, like don't tell me how much I'm spending at Starbucks because then I'm going to feel bad. I'm like, now I'm not going to Starbucks.
Exactly. It's like you really, it's like this thing you don't really want to look at.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Like there's still money in the account. We're good. But do I want to break it down and kind of like budget myself? That was scary. But when I started going through and knowing where my money was going, I became more conscious. Like, okay, I'm going to like Aloe and Lululemon and a little too much. Like, I don't need to go once a week, twice a week, like taking all my money. Because then when you have a number on it, you're like, oh, well, that $10,000 over this much time, I could put that into a house.
Yes.
Like, why am I spending on more things that I really don't need?
Exactly. It's so true. And also, like, if you want something to grow, like, if you want your money to grow, it takes the time to, like, focus on it.
Yeah.
Even if it's very uncomfortable. It's like, get yourself comfortable with learning about it and being with it and seeing it and being okay to understand it.
Yeah, nurturing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's your little baby. Like, this is your bank account. You need to, like, coddle it and be nice to it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's wild.
it was funny because when I started making money, I liked a certain number in my bank account. I'm like, no. It has to stay, like, there or up. Like, you
Yes.
can't go below this. But, it's not doing anything for you sitting there either. So that was something hard to, like, come to terms with. I'm like, wait, no, I have to put my money into investments? Like, but the money's going to go down. And my husband's like, but it will go up. But you need to, like, put money into things so it can grow. He's like, it does nothing just sitting in your bank.
Yeah,
And I
that's a
was like,
hard one.
okay. And then it was like going out of my bank. I'm like, okay, it's gone. Like, it was scary.
It is. And it's funny. It's because it's all scary because we do not grow up learning any of this stuff.
Which is crazy because in
Yeah.
school, finances should be taught.
It should. It's so messed up.
Like, it was funny. I was writing a check the other day and my stepson's like, what is that? I'm like, oh, I'm old. I'm like, you don't know what checks are? Like my friend. I guess everything is digital, obviously.
Yeah.
There's some things I still like writing checks for. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I've never really seen a check before. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Have you heard the thing of like when you're buying something, like because certain people will like pay for something and then they'll feel lack. Have you ever heard the thing of like when you're paying for something, instead just say thank you, like thank you to your money, and start to create that relationship
I
with
like
it
that.
when you're giving it, of like thank you because you're bringing me value, and like creating that like exchange, because every time you pay for something you're getting something that you felt was valuable
Yeah.
in exchange.
I like that.
Yeah, so I was gonna say to you, that's been something I always worked on, is like, okay, if I am starting to worry about money and I feel limited, I feel like I'm spending too much or all these things, I start to be like, okay, now I'm getting like this anxious attachment feeling to it.
Yeah.
And then it's like nothing good is gonna come from that. So I
Yeah.
have to like reset my mind and create a positive relationship again with money, and then start to install like positive beliefs on it, and then yeah, because that's gonna, like we kind of said before, it's a constant work in progress. It's not just because now you have it like everything's gonna go away.
No.
You're now someone that just like financially so abundant. It's like these little things from our childhood pop
Like
up.
triggers and things like that. Or like I went shopping and I bought something. And usually my rule is like, if I don't wear it right away, I'm like, did I really need that? Like, am I going to use it? Should I return it? I'm like, stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're like, why did I have it?
Like,
sitting
wait,
there?
if I didn't wear it right away, like, why do I have this? Do I need this? Am I going to wear the sandals? I'm like, are they going to be good? And my husband's like, just keep them. Stop. I'm like, yeah, but I could return them. And then it's like, I saved $1,000 because I returned them. And he's like, stop. But yeah, I should say, like, thank you.
Yeah, like thank you so much, and have like a positive relationship. Also, like the people that buy something, they're like, it's gonna come back to me tenfold. Or like, have you heard, and I do this all the time, not even because of this, but I just like, it's fulfilling to do it, is like giving your money to like people that need it. I like always give my money to like people I see. I like leave cash in my car all the time just for giving away.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because I always say like when you give, it comes back to you tenfold.
We always do that. So I just actually, and it's funny because my stepson, we went to church and he's like, you're giving a check to them? And I'm like, yes, I have a check in my bag. He's like, for this much money? And I'm like, it was like $1,500.
Yeah.
He's like, you're giving the church this much money? I'm like, yeah, because it's been a great month. Like money is coming in. I want it. I'm thankful. Like that's all from that guy. And he's like, but that's so much money to just give the church. I'm like, yeah, but they help people. They do things. Like it's going to a good place. I know where it's going. But yeah.
It's also the feeling behind it too, because if you feel good about like giving, that's so much more powerful than you being like, oh shit, I have to buy this. It's like you're putting out a negativity.
I'd
too.
rather give my money to somebody that needs it than buy something stupid that I don't need. A million
it's so
percent.
much more rewarding. It's such an abundant feeling too. Like I can give to others. Like people need to practice that more. Even like if you don't really have much money,
It's not about the amount.
Yeah.
Like it's something small you could
Exactly.
give. I do like a toy drive during Christmas, and that's like the best feeling. This year I actually delivered some of the toys to the kids, families in need, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I love it. I buy all the toys, I wrap them, and I deliver
So
them.
cute.
And it's such a great feeling because you see these people and they're struggling. And the one mom was telling me, she's like, I didn't think like I was going to be able to have any gifts for the kids this year. They were just going to get what they had from their grandparents or whatever. So thank you. And it was only, you spent like $125 per kid. And
That
I'm
is
like,
so
to
rewarding.
them, this was huge. And I'm like, I think at our house on Christmas, like how it is and how extravagant and the things that like above and beyond. And I'm like, these kids are happy with something so small. And the feeling behind it, I was like, wow, I just gave gifts to how many families that got to open it up on Christmas. So
And it's so wild because I remember when I was younger and I didn't have money, if I got like a gift or something, I was like, oh, it was like so amazing. Like it feels so good to get those things. And then as you become more financially secure and you have money, then it's not as like the most rewarding thing is giving it that feeling to others.
I think that was a struggle like with me and my husband when we first started dating, because his ex was somebody that like didn't make a bunch of money. She struggled. He was like taking care of her. So obviously when given a gift, she was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. And so when I would get a gift, I'd be like, oh, this is really nice. And he's like, oh, I expected like something more like excited. And I was like, no, I loved it. But I'm not like over it because I can go to the store and buy it.
Yeah.
But for me, little things are more meaningful, like getting up and you have my Starbucks for me, or like you
Yes.
took my car to get washed. Like those things, I'm like, oh, thanks so much. Like I
Yeah.
appreciate, like make my life easier.
Yes.
But the gifts, I'm like, I love gifts, but I'm not that person that's gonna be like, oh my god, this is the best purse ever. Like
Yeah.
it's just not me,
Yeah, that's so true. I noticed that too with myself. I'm like,
and I feel bad
yeah.
because I'm like, it is really nice. Like I like it, but I'm not like blown away by it, I guess.
Yeah, it's so crazy because like now when I like if I get a gift from a guy I'm dating, I'm like, dude, the old me would have flipped the fuck out if you gave this to me right now. Freaked out. But then now I'm like, okay. And then also that's a good lesson for people is like normalize when things become normal to have it. That's actually when you attract it into your life. Like stopping to put things on a pedestal and making it feel so out of reach. It's like when you kind of pull it back down. When you get to like financial success, these things are normal.
Yeah.
So the only part that someone is doing to not have it is feeling like it's so out of reach. And so it's like, okay, like I was just talking about this on a previous podcast too. They're like, if you're coming from a place of like envy when you're seeing someone's successes, that's making you, it's installing that you can't have it.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at them with like you're inspired, that's just a lot. That's because now you have been unlocked by looking at this person, you can have it too.
I love that.
You
And that's so
know?
true. And I used to tell, like, when I bartended, you know, girls would get gifts or big tips, but I would see people get things. I'm like, oh, I could do that too.
Exactly.
Or how am I going to get that? I want to pick their brain on how they were successful, or like even in relationships and things like that in business. I'm like, I want to ask the questions to the billionaires and the multimillionaires.
Yes.
Like, well, how did you get here? What did you do? Or what mistakes did you do so I don't do?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it's also like dropping your ego is a huge thing. Like you just said, like
Yes.
being okay to ask those questions because a lot of us feel uncomfortable by that. Like, oh, well, I don't want them to think like, I don't know, or I'm less than, or all these things. And it's kind of like, just drop your ego because people that are in that position, like it's fulfilling to help others.
They want to, yeah.
Like, it's like now they like, it's so nice to give back. It's like now they feel better about themselves that
sure.
they can give to you.
Yeah.
So it's wild. It's
My
so
friend
true.
used to say, your ego is not your amigo.
Yes.
It's so true. Once you
Yes.
can get past that and just like, I give information all the time
Yeah.
to people online, girls wanting to model, things like that. Look, 98% of people won't do anything with the information I give. That's okay. But that, you know, small percentage is going to take it and do something and change themselves or, you know, become successful. And like, that's why I do it.
Exactly. And I'm like, I was thinking the other day, I'm like listening to something online and they're like, if you're going to create a brand online, you really have to ask yourself, like, why do you do it? But don't say something generic, like to inspire others or to make people feel good. So just like, no, why do you actually do it? Like, and so I was like, be way more specific. And I was saying to myself the other day, I'm like, I do this and I get so fulfilled by this podcast because I feel like I'm talking to people that were like me prior. Like I used to be so hard on myself or think I can't be successful or like went months and months without making money, trying to create my own business, failed on like 15 different companies. I started like a lot of different
Failure is the only thing that's promised.
Exactly.
Like you are going to fail. It's just when you're at that line, what are you going to do? Lay down and just be like, oh, woe is me, or push through it.
Exactly. The only difference is who gets up and does it again
keeps
and
pushing.
doesn't give up. And it's so wild too. Another thing I've talked about on a podcast is like the moment I was giving up was actually the moment I like got everything, which then taught me the ability to detach from things and not needing things so much to happen in order for me to feel good.
Yeah.
So then I started being like, okay, if I want something new, I have to then put in my mindset of like, my life is actually pretty good right now. I have like everything I would want right now. And like I look at my relationships and my sister being my best friend and my mom being in my life and these things that you don't have forever, and you start to appreciate your life now. And then you're like, I would love that thing to happen, but I don't need it now.
When you become too obsessed with something, I feel like you push it further and further away.
Yeah. So it's been a big thing for my career because I swear I like was dying to be successful for so long to like prove it to myself that I could have it. And then I finally was like, I'm giving up. It was like the moment I like turned in the towel and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go get a normal job.
Like, if it's for me, it's for me. If it's not, I guess it's not.
Yeah, and then that's when everything starts shifted for me. It was
Yeah.
wild. So that was a big learning lesson to me too.
Well, we try to control things. I really do believe that. I was like telling a friend this. I'm like, we get in the way because we want to do things our way. And I was like explaining to her, I'm like, let God work. Let him do his job. Like, he's going to like move things around. He has a plan for you. It's us that wants to like get in the way and change things and do things our way. When you kind of just surrender, like, that's when things start to happen.
It's the most powerful place you can be. And I always try to say that and remind myself of that and others, is like, there's a lot of times where something feels like impossible to figure out, or you kind of feel lost, or you don't know what to do, but it's kind of like you hand it over. And that's the most powerful thing you can do. We're all just supposed to like kind of let go and trust.
Yeah.
Trust that there's something out there for us, that we will find our path. I pray so much, and it helps me so much. I'll be like, okay, I don't know what to do with this situation, but I'm going to hand it over to you and trust that I will be guided.
Well, it's having that faith that, hey, I don't know what's going on right now. I don't have control of it. I don't know why it's happening to me, but obviously it's from, you, and it's for a reason, and you just have to go through it. I think praying on things is awesome, because I do it too. I'm like, I'm praying on it. I don't know what's going to happen, but hey, if he wants me to have it, like, I'll have it. If not, then on to the next thing.
Yeah, it's so true. What would you say is the key difference between like just trusting your faith or the universe that it will come to you, as opposed to like taking action?
You obviously can't just sit at home and pray, like, I want to be successful, God, give it to me. Like, I deserve it. If it's for me, give it to me. And then sit at your house and watch Netflix all day. Like, that's not what God's intending. Like, obviously you need to work for it. But I think it's like kind of taking things into your control and like pushing things. And I've always done this. I'm very stubborn. If I want something, I want it now, and I'm going to figure it out. But then I've realized when I'm on that path of my way, everything will try to stop me in the way. And I'm at a point where like, okay, well, I guess I wasn't supposed to be there on time. Or, hey, like, I just changed my perspective. Like today I was late and I'm like, oh my gosh, so annoying. I'm like, I hate being late, but maybe it saved me from something that happened. Maybe a car crash happened. Like, you never know, right? So I think you have to have motivation to where you're going and praying on what that is. You know what I mean? But you can't just say, hey, I'm going to do nothing and expect something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You have to put some initiative in it.
Yeah, I feel like what I've noticed is like the inspired action. Like, you see something and you're just inspired to go out and do it, and like you find that action. And then the moments I pray is when I really can't see a solution, and then I hand it over.
For sure.
And I'm like, okay, show me show me if you want me to go this path or anything, show me, because I feel lost right now,
That's really good.
Yes, that's so true. What are like something you feel like you've been asked a lot? Is there anything that you've had a lot of people ask you?
I guess about like relationships. When I was dating someone and I did go kind of public, I was like, oh, whatever, I'm going to post photos. When we did break up, even 6 months down the road, people were like, what happened to that one guy with muscles? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, leave me alone. Or people were messaging him, like, your girl was out. And I'm like, I was not out. I am home 98% of the time. Like, stop that. Yeah. But people like start causing issues for no reason. So like, it's better to be private. But I think having that conversation with like a spouse or a potential, partner beforehand, that was like in the beginning. Hey, I just want to let you know, I don't share people on my social media. Like, are you okay with that? Some guys are not okay.
Yeah.
Like, my husband is very secure.
Wow.
Like, we go through my DMs and he's just like, oh my God, this guy's in your DM. That's great. He's awesome, honestly.
Yeah, it takes a very secure guy. A very secure guy, because there are some guys that just won't be able to handle it. But
For sure.
But you kind of, I feel like the more powerful you are as a woman, and the more like you work on yourself and you have your own things and you're building your own career and you have these things, it's so important to be with a secure guy, because
you have to be.
You're very intimidating at that point, because like you just said, you don't need them, which is very intimidating for a lot of guys. Like, they like to feel like they can control or you need them in these aspects. And so it takes a very secure man to date a girl that can kind of figure it out.
Even if you're independent and secure as a woman, you have to kind of like and I had to do this through therapy because it was very hard because I am that person that like, I do everything for everyone, my family. So I'm that like person. But my husband wants to be the person to take care of me. But I have to like allow him to a degree. Because I'm that person like, oh, this needs to be done. I got it. I'll do it.
Yes, there is a fine balance.
Oh, it was so hard.
But it comes, I think the main thing, and I've learned that too, because I'm I'm like you, I'm very independent. But then there's something not as feminine about that. So but it takes the right person that you can trust to like allow
Let down
yourself
your guard
to
and like be feminine. Agreed, 150%. But even in marriage, like I remember early on, I would always just make my own financial decisions because it's my money. It's like, oh my God, I just invested in this thing. It was like $40,000. And he's like, wait, what? I'm like, oh yeah, like I wired $40,000. And he's like, you didn't think that we should have this discussion? And I was like, oh, I guess we should have had this. I was like, ooh. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm really like, this is all new to me because I never had to discuss financial decisions before. So like being married has been a learning curve and kind of allowing him to lead because he is the man.
Exactly.
And like I had to kind of reprogram myself as like when I'm home with him, like I'm a little girl. Like you take care of me. Like honestly, like I don't want to make any decisions when I'm with my husband. Like, okay, where are we going? What are we doing? Like what should I do?
Yes.
And he's like, babe, you're a businesswoman. Why are you like asking me? I'm like, I don't know. I just want your opinion. But you have to be like that because that's how like being in a relationship and a marriage is like.
Especially when you date a masculine man. They do like that.
Yeah. But like I don't ever get controlled. Like my husband, literally, if I'm like, I really want to go do this, go do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, anything I want to do. He's like, if that's what you want and that's what would make you happy, then go do that. Or, hey, well, I'm coming along too. So you have to find that like balance.
That's so true. And that's like I think that's a really good way for females because I think we've been obviously through the era of like, you know, telling women to be independent and all these things, which has been so beautiful because so many more women have became so successful in like the last decade. And now it's kind of like now the next layer is like, okay, but are we having healthy relationships because of these like financially independent women? And then like, what are the dynamics with that when dating and like what type of men want to be with that and don't and feel insecure around that? And like, yeah, so it's so true. It's like,
it's hard.
It is
when
very
you
hard.
are independent and you make your, like I said, it changes the dating because you're not putting up with every Joe Schmo doing whatever. But before you'd be like, oh, like whatever, he's hot, like he's cute, and now I'm like, I don't care how hot you are, like if you don't have this and this and we're not going toward like a goal, no thanks.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. And then as a successful woman too, your pool gets smaller as the more successful you get, which is like another thing. So if any woman wants to sign up for this, it's an interesting road.
But it's then you're getting like, you're looking for quality.
Exactly.
It's not like the masses, or you're not just dating because like this guy's hot, or like, oh, well, he's funny. You know, there's, yes, those things are obviously important, but there's other things that are important too, like values and things like that. Like that was something we sat down and we were like, well, what are our values at home? Like, how are we going to raise our children? Like, what are things that are not okay for us? And like sitting down and just being open and honest in a relationship. Like that is one thing. My husband knows every terrible, dirty, out of the, like anything he knows.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. So nice to have that kind of relationship because I think, you know, going through my 20s, I did crazy things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I will never tell anybody this. Like, I will go to the grave and say no. But then being with him and just being comfortable, I'm like, I want to tell you everything. Like, there's nothing you shouldn't know about me. Like,
that's awesome.
Even, like, crappy stuff that I'm like, oh, I did that. Like, I did. Let me tell you.
That's great, though. That's how you know you're with the right person because you're, like, completely being your authentic self.
And I know about him. I'm like, yeah, I know. My husband was a whore. I know. He's been all around South Florida. But, hey, like, I'm the last.
Yeah. That's so good. That's how you know when you're with the right person because when you're hiding things or you're ashamed of things or what are they going to think, it's like you're not being your whole self.
No. And I don't think you should obviously go tell everybody.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I think it's like
really.
When you put in that time, that effort, and you see that kind of relationship flourishing, it's like, hey, like, this is me. Let me put all my cards on the table for you. Like, I want to know everything about you. And that was something my therapist was like, you guys have to be honest. And even when we did couples therapy at one point, because we had like a crazy relationship in the beginning, cheating, just back and forth, breaking up, getting back together. And it was like very crazy. And we did therapy. And there was some things where he was like, well, I don't feel like this. Like, you don't make me feel like this. And I was like, oh, I did not know that. Like, you should have told me. Like, I felt so horrible. Like, it was something with like passion. He's like, you don't look in my eyes sometimes, like when we're being intimate. And I'm like, oh. But it was because we had such a broken relationship where like I almost like didn't want to be vulnerable to a degree with him. But I didn't know it bothered him until like sitting down and putting like all of our cards on the table and like, okay, I like this and you don't like this, and having those discussions, like,
Yeah, it's very powerful.
blown away.
Yeah. That's so powerful. Yeah, someone that you can have that like really close relationship and be vulnerable is very important.
Just raw.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to tell you something. You might not like it, but like, this is what it is.
And this is me. And then also that comes with also trusting someone.
Of course.
Yeah, like having that connection where you know that you can trust them with this information. You're like, okay, we're sharing
Hey,
this.
yeah. Like, this is very uncomfortable. I'm going to give you this information, but like, I'm sharing this with you.
And that comes from like sharing things and then them being there for you through it. And like, I think that's a good point on you saying, well, don't go just share it with anyone.
No.
But it's like you start to see the types of people you can
The
trust.
reactions, like, okay, I shared this. Maybe like the way I grew up wasn't amazing. Let me share some like vulnerable states of like that. Okay, he responded very well and like didn't judge. I'm like, okay, like, hey, I have some stuff like I would want to tell you, but it's like crappy, or like I don't feel great about myself. It's like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, but are you sure? Like, and yeah.
That's so interesting that you guys came from like a very rocky relationship and now have such a strong one.
Yeah.
It just shows, wow, because not many people
I mean, we did a
find
lot
that.
of therapy. We did a
Wow.
lot of therapy. And then honestly, we were broken up and he went back to church. And I think it was just honestly church. He then brought me to church. And at first I was like, oh, this is a little too much for me. I came from like a Catholic background, so very structured. And then we went to a Christian church, like hands in the air, like singing. And I was like, I don't know what this is like for me. Now I'm like at Bible study during the week and I love it. I'm the one in the front row, like hands in the air. But I think because he made that choice, he saw like what a marriage could be, like from our pastor and his wife. And I think it set like a good example of a marriage, because everything that he had seen before, even for myself, my mom's divorce, was like negative. I'm like, well, why would I want that as a marriage? So I think he saw that as well. Everybody around him, like his family, people were married, but not like happy and not, not affectionate with their wives or their husbands. Like, he was like, why would I want that? So I think going back to church, he saw the benefits of, having that relationship. So
That's so powerful. That's so exciting.
yeah, I think when you're like in that grind of working and building, I guess, your dream life to a degree, you're not really thinking about like, okay, now I have this person, I know like I'm going to build this. I think it's just like when you get to a point, you kind of step back and you look at everything. You're like, oh, that all worked out like for a reason. Like that person, I met that person for that reason. Like you don't understand it while you're going through it. But now that I'm at like this point, and still I'm not like satisfied, right? I started getting to like real estate for me to satisfy I want to help people, but I never knew how to. Like I always would tell my husband, like, it's not about the money. It's really not about the money for me. Like, I just want to help people. And he's like, well, you need to make money to help people. And he's like, you could do something, but you have to like make money first. So I think for me getting into like Section 8 rentals, that was like my pocket. I'm like, okay, well now I can provide safe, nice homes for people that are on like subsidized housing or, assistance, because obviously it ties back to when I was homeless. I'm like, oh, I wish we had a nice house that like was safe and we could stay into. So, I think along the way, I don't think I was thinking about like, I'm like building my dream life
Yeah.
because you're just like in grind mode and you're like this, like you have blockers on and you're like head down working really hard. But now I'm at a space where I'm like, okay, it's like coming together. I'm still not like, oh, I'm here doing it. But I think that's also like imposter syndrome too.
Exactly. I was going to
Like-
say, I have that too.
I have to like remind myself. I have to like check myself sometimes. I'm like, I do deserve this. I work really hard. I deserve to be in this room with these people. Like, I am smart enough. Like, I think as women, we have to remind ourselves, like, yes, there's a lot of men in business, but that doesn't mean that you can't sit at that table.
A huge piece. And also knowing that even if you have the imposter syndrome, or even though you think that someone made it and then they feel so confident now and all this stuff, it's so not true. It's like we're all like,
It's a daily thing.
it's daily, it's a
That's what I
constant
tell
reminder. And then it's also like, it's a blessing to always want more, because once you're just like,
When you're stagnant, there's an issue.
exactly.
You should always be thriving, always be growing, always being like the student. You have to be.
And that's why they say the journey is the part that you should really like love. It's like we all want to get to the destination, but we're going to want more from there. So start getting comfortable with the
There's
journey.
no like end destination, really. Like, yeah, like you may build companies and sell and like go through these things, but like it's still then on to the next thing.
So
Yeah.
true. Oh, I loved having you on today.
you so
You've been so
much.
lovely to be around, and your energy so good. And tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Amber Quinn Official. Make sure you check me out.
Thank you. Of course. Please comment, let me know what parts you loved the most, and tell me what you want me to speak about next. I read them all, I respond to you all, and please subscribe. This means the most to me to come on here each week and connect with you all. I love you so much, and as you know, I come back every week, so I'll see you soon.